Hi everyone, I'm Mary with Mary Greeley News. Protests have been growing across major cities there in Australia over the vaccine that was supposed to start on Monday. The media there have covered many protests without any harassment by the police. But yesterday, Saturday, 2 journalists working for the Sun Herald were arrested. You can see the one man, he's got his credentials around his neck, so does the woman. They were facing a fine of $15,000, but was later released when the local media cried foul about their arrest. Australia has had no coronavirus cases in over 2 days, and they kicked off the COVID-19 vaccination program a day ahead of schedule, with the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and an 84-year-old World War II survivor among the first Australians to receive the first dose of their coronavirus jabs. News.com.australia stated that the journalist was handcuffed and fined in Victorian Police State. A Herald Sun journalist found out the hard way that Victoria is a police state. They were handcuffed and fined by police while covering Saturday's anti-vaxxer protests. Thousands of people have been protesting what they believe is going to be a mandatory vaccine. The government says it won't be mandatory. Quite possibly it could end up being mandatory for first-line defenders, emergency personnel, people like that. But this news, they evidently don't want to go out when they start arresting media personnel. Originally there in Australia, they said couple hundred people participated in the protest, but actually there were thousands of people stating that it was their body, their choice. And here is one of the protests organized by a million march. Yep, millions marched, what they called the Million March Against Mandatory Vaccination. I believe this was at Faulkner Park, and a former reality star turned conspiracist, it says here, Peter Evans, made a bizarre speech about his political aspirations at an anti-vaxxer rally in Sydney. Evidently, he's been kicked off of a lot of different social media because of his ideologies. So they're saying it's not going to be mandatory vaccinations, but frontline emergency personnel, health providers might be required to get the vaccinations. And then you have to wonder, why did they roll out the vaccinations a day ahead of when they were supposed to do this? As I said, the country is enjoying a second day without a single new COVID transmission in the community. Up to 4 million Australians are expected to receive a COVID-19 vaccination voluntarily by March, while the vast majority of the country's population will be injected by the end of October. Australia has a population of 25 million people and has already secured 10 million doses of the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, as well as 53.8 million doses of the AstraZeneca jab, it says here. So far, since this pandemic started, Australia has 29,000 cases of COVID-19 and 909 deaths. And then there was this other professor who says that by April, COVID-19 will be mostly gone in the U.S. I think it's too early for the jabs to be given credit for the decrease of the COVID cases. But even the number that the media is reporting of COVID cases is coming down. And yet they still don't want to open up the businesses, don't want to open up schools, allow people to go back to work and pay their bills. And they don't want you to talk about the protests. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.